Random game. Random game. Game start.
عفتي 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 عفتي
Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is my first video where I will be explaining how did I move to UAE, and this will be a brief walkthrough of how will you be able to relocate to UAE in an easier way. Okay, so let's get started, and let me share my screen as well. Okay, so as soon as you receive the offer letter, the HR will contact you and will ask you to submit certain documents. I have listed out whichever documents which I had to submit. So degree certificate, passport, UAE format, passport size photo. Now do make sure that when you take a picture, it should have minimum 500 dpi. Ask them to send a soft copy because you will be in India and you will have to send the passport copy to the HR itself. So make sure you get a copy which has 500 dpi. Next one is Aadhaar card, and then employee reference employment history form. This is nothing but your history of companies that you have worked on. So in my case, I had only one company, so whatever experience I had, whatever role that I played in, details about that will be mentioned in this form. Now moving on, once you accept the offer, what things that you need to be ready with? There are a couple of things which we can be ready with. First one is the degree certificate, also called as the MOFA attestation. MOFA stands for Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is optional but highly recommended in case if you're joining as a software engineer or any corporate job there. So this will cost you around 13,000 rupees per document. When I say per document, in case if you're a bachelor, only your certificate will be more than sufficient for you. In case if you're married, then even your marriage certificate, I'm assuming that will also needs to be attested. So why is it this required? So this is required in case if you do land in UAE. There are two types of visa. One is the skilled labor visa, the other one is the unskilled labor visa. Now always skilled labor visa has higher precedence in terms of opportunities in UAE. So hence it's better for you to spend a little amount of money and go ahead with your skilled labor visa here. It takes around 1 week in case if you go ahead with speed attestation centers. Now speed attestation centers are nothing but the service providers for you who can get your certificate attested in a faster pace. So you can go ahead, pay 13,000 rupees and get your degree certificate attested. Ideally the process is you send the document to Delhi, Ministry of Foreign Affairs will check the document, get it signed from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs itself and send it back. But this usually takes more time and hence speed attestation centers come into picture here. Next one is the police clearance certificate, also called as PCC. Now this is mandatory in case if you are going to UAE. This can be done very easily by just going to Passport Seva Center. This will cost you around 500 rupees to schedule an appointment. Appointment in the sense you will book an appointment on a scheduled date and then you will visit the Passport Seva Center and the procedure starts from there. There are, I think, 3 steps in it, out of which first 2 steps will be completed in a breeze, and the last step is where a lot of people do come in and it might take a lot of time there. So do keep in mind that it might take around half a day or so for you to complete this process itself. Do make sure to keep these documents handy, that is the Aadhaar, passport, PAN card, voter ID, SSLC certificate and ration card. I'm not sure why these documents are required, but it's always better for you to carry all these documents and not miss out on certain silly reasons. So just be mindful and keep these documents handy. Once that is done, the PCC will be sent to the police station which you had selected while scheduling the appointment itself. I would recommend you to follow up by visiting the police station itself because they'll be bombarded with a lot of applications, and it will be difficult for them also to prioritize your application. So visit the police station, check in case if it has arrived. If so, get it by just signing there. Okay. Now next one is the travel and visa. Now most of the times companies do sponsor your flights, hotels, your Emirates ID process, etc. But it might not be the case for all the companies as well. But the reason I made it into this video is that there are two types of visa that a member can be brought into the country. First one is the tourist visa, the other one is the employment visa. Now ideally employment visa is to be considered when you are moving to a different country for an employment opportunity, but this might not be the case when your company chooses you to onboard you and to bring you into the country as well. Why so? Because employment visa might turn out to be a little more expensive considering the other way around, which is a workaround. So employment visa, as the name suggests, as soon as you land into the country, you will have an option to start working immediately itself. So the company will call you to the company and make you, work from day one itself. The other way around would be is to bring you in as a tourist with the 60-day tourist visa. It might be 30 days or 60 days depending on your company. So bring you in as a tourist and then convert your visa into a work permit or a work visa. So once you receive the visa, just check in case if it is a tourist visa or an employment visa. Based on that, you can take a call and be prepared once you land into the country. So in case if it is a tourist visa, it usually takes around 10 to 15 days for the company to complete the process of your work permit. Work permit is sometimes also called as the MOL letter, which is the Ministry of Labour letter provided from the UAE government. So once you do receive that, only then you will be allowed to work in the company officially. So until then, you'll probably be given a hotel stay or the company would sort you out. If not, we will have to manage ourselves there. Now this is one of the most important aspects once you land into UAE, that is the Emirates ID process. Now Emirates ID is almost equivalent to the Aadhaar card of India or any social security number of any other country. Emirates ID is required for you on almost every aspect in UAE. So as soon as you join the company, the procedure of Emirates ID will start almost immediately. So there are basically two steps of this Emirates ID. The first one is the medical checkup and second one would be the biometrics. So the medical check involves in chest x-ray and blood test. It usually takes around 1 to 2 hours depending on how much crowd is present in the Mubadala hospital that you have scheduled in, and it can be in any of the government hospitals nearby. Usually the company chooses the location as well and will also drop you and pick you up from the hospital as well. Now I did add about ILO insurance here. ILO stands for involuntary loss of employment. This is basically a mandatory insurance that is provided from the UAE government. In case if you lose your job involuntarily, in case if the company decides to let you go, and also you have worked in the company for more than a year, then you are entitled to get 6 months of your pay slips basically funded from the UAE government. So for this to happen, you will have to get ILO insurance, which is basically a mandatory insurance provided from the UAE government. Now this will cost you around 60 to 120 dirhams up to your base pay offered from the company, and this is an annual insurance, so this has to be renewed every year. Enroll into that as soon as your medical checkup is done. The reason why I'm saying this is sometimes the HRs might ask you the details of ILO insurance before they schedule the biometric appointment, which is the second step. So biometric appointment as well will be scheduled from the company itself majority of the times, and do make sure to carry your passport and your medical receipt that you have received in the first step, that is the medical checkup. Now I do want to let you know there are many centers which allow you to take up medical checkup as well as biometrics. Depending on that, the queues might vary. In certain places, it can happen in 10 minutes, and in certain cases, it can even take half a day. So in my case, it was almost half a day for me. So do be patient, because the actual process is only around 5 to 10 minutes. But since there will be a lot of crowd involved, a lot of people will also be there along with you, it might tend to take more than the usual time. Once you submit your biometrics, you can also track your status of your Emirates ID in the ICP portal. And in around 48 hours, you will get the virtual Emirates ID in the website. Now, in case if the company is sponsoring your Emirates ID, then there might be a scenario where the company might have provided the company email ID rather than yours. So in that case, I recommend you to check with someone from the company, maybe the HR or the PRO. They will be able to download the virtual ID for you. If not, just wait for 2 to 3 days. The physical Emirates ID itself will be delivered to the location where the company chooses. So once you do get it, do make sure to set up UAE Pass as well. So UAE Pass is an application which allows you to get other documents such as residence visa, even a virtual copy of Emirates ID, etc. It can also be used for logging in purposes of different apps like Etisalat, Daman for insurance, DU, and other providers as well. Now, what I could have done better. Now, always, no matter how well you plan, there are certain things or certain aspects which you will come to know only once you land into that country. This is bound to happen for everyone. I would recommend everyone to be well prepared as much as you can, but also be ready to face any challenges or anything which is not ideal scenario for you, which you might not foresee. So I would just recommend to stay calm. But also I felt that there are certain areas which I could have been prepared much better, or I could have sorted out in a little different way as well. First one is the finding accommodation. Now, it is always better in case if you do know someone who is already in UAE, because the rental market, it is crazy. You will see the prices go skyrocket for a smallest of places. So I would say, in case if you do know someone who has a little experience on renting or leasing or agreements, all these things, that would be of a huge help for you. I didn't know personally, but thankfully I had a lot of people who helped me immensely, and I'm forever grateful for them. And I would say, in case if you do know someone, it is always a plus point, because they will help you. They know all the things already. They have experienced these things before in hand. So they will be able to help you or guide you much better. So again, I'm very fortunate to have them, and I'm truly grateful for those people as well. Second one is to take a SIM card. Now, this might seem silly, but I just want to emphasize taking a SIM card which has calling facility in it. Now, a year before, I had visited UAE for a vacation, and at that point of time, I took a SIM from matrix.com, which allows you to take an eSIM which has data only in it. Since it was a vacation, it was not big of a hassle for me. I was able to make online calls to my family as well. I was able to contact seamlessly. It wasn't a big problem for us. So I went ahead and did the same thing when I landed to UAE this time as well, when I moved to UAE. But the data card doesn't help you much here. Reason being is, as soon as you land in, the first thing that you'll start looking for is the accommodation. And real estate agents or brokers or even the owners are the only point of contact for you, apart from Facebook groups where you do visit. Now, in all the cases, majority of the times, people do not reply for your WhatsApp messages. I would highly recommend you to get a SIM card which has calling facility in it, because they are not responsive at all in terms of text messages. As soon as you get the number, log into these apps, directly hit them up, call them, and inquire about the properties, because the property market is on so high demand that you might even lose out properties in a matter of couple of hours as well. This has happened to me. So be very attentive and keep following with the real estate agents or the owners or whoever who manages these things here. So get a SIM card which has calling feature and directly call them rather than waiting for their text messages once you send them. Also, I do want to mention that you can get a SIM card just by using your passport once you land into UAE, and the same SIM card can also be converted into a regular SIM as well. So you need not worry about logging into applications because the same number can be used by converting the same number into a regular SIM as well. Third one is the transport. Now obviously different people will have different mindset, different likings to a place. Certain people will like more calm places, certain people will like more social places. So it's up to the people itself to choose where exactly they want to take the accommodation from. Now when you land in UAE, you will not have private cars for yourself until you get a car or the license basically. You will have to rely on public transport or cab facility. Now both of which will not cover complete UAE. So you might be bound to certain locations itself. And this is what I thought before I landed into UAE. Later, I got to know about the facility of private buses. So private buses are very similar to public buses, but are not handled from government. Instead, it is handled from a private company. Like public buses, even these have specific routes and specific stops, but you will usually find one which will take you from point A to point B, which is required for you, at least in the initial days, for office commute itself. One of the example is Al Amin, and you will even find a lot of these buses moving around in the city as well. And the cost of this would be roughly around 230 to 300 dirhams per month. And last but not the least, for sure not the least, and probably the most important one of all, is talking to colleagues. Now I know you are new to the company, you will not be aware about a lot of people who are already working in the company, but I will highly recommend you to reach out to the HR and ask for certain contact person who is part of your team to connect with you. The reason being is they are also in the same situation probably some time before. So they would be able to answer to all of your questions in a single shot, and you will be able to get the recommendation for transport, recommendation for accommodation, food facility. All these things can be sorted out just by talking to colleagues. So I would say grab those contacts of your colleagues and they will sort you out for the most part. Now that's it for this video. I hope I was able to answer to most of your questions. In case if you have any of them left, please do shoot them out in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Thank you for watching, and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be posting more of these kind of content in case if you're interested. Peace.